Hey, what's up? This is Steve Cardenas, aka Rocky the Red Power Ranger,
And Jeff Barrazzo, Trent Fernandez Mercer from Battle Thunder.
and you are watching Team Venom Media.
It's morphin' time.
Dennis Oliver, Zordon the third. Calista Valentine. Rory Bailey. Paul Baker.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of Team Venom's Power Ranger podcast. Very unprofessional start from me there, chuckling in the middle of that intro, but we'll soldier on. So this week we're going to be talking, I say this week, it's halfway through a week since the last one. Today or this afternoon, whatever it is for everybody, we're going to be talking about the mid-90s Power Rangers movie and that sort of thing, generally. So I'm your host, Rory Bailey. I'm joined by Dennis Oliver Thorburn, the third, and Calista Valentine. So firstly, how the devil are you both?
Good, very good.
I'm very well, thank you. A little bit on the tired side, crazy kind of couple of days for me, and even crazier couple of days coming up. But
Fair enough. So yeah, what we're going to chat about is the movie. I know, Calista, you had an extra screening of it yesterday for yourself.
yes,
So
I did.
probably-
I got it on DVD, so I sat and give it a watch while I had my dinner. Yes.
So you've probably got the most knowledge on it by default, purely because of it being fresh in your head. So
Yeah.
So firstly, I'd personally give it about, this is just because I saw it at the cinema when it came out when I was a kid. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
I was in the thing of absolutely loving Rangers in general at that point as well. I'm assuming you guys both saw it when it first came out as well. And
Yes.
so firstly for you, Calista, with you watching it yesterday, how did it hold up against your memories?
It's pretty much how I remembered it. It's almost kind of like a window into what it would have been like if Power Rangers was solely an American thing. Like there was no Super Sentai behind it whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like if you watch it compared to the show, and I know they kind of did adapt the storyline of the film into the show and weaved its own little thing. But you can definitely see there's a much more, I don't want to say American feel to it, but there really is. It's much more that boom in your face kind of action rather than the subtleties that I say subtleties with the Sentai show, but Sentai had much more of a deeper story. In even the show of Power Rangers had kind of that interconnecting story. The story in the film, yeah, it's like, oh shit, there's a big bad guy. We need more power to kill it. The more power's over there. Go and get it and come back. It's very much like that. Boom, boom, boom. Whereas in the show, a storyline like that would have been 6 or 7 episodes. It would have been a nice long arc. Like the Green Medieval storyline is a perfect example.
Yeah.
You know, but I think it does hold up if you take it on the merit of it is a mid-90s kid/early teen based action film.
Yeah. Fair enough. Dennis, for yourself, how did that, whenever you've last watched it, I don't know, but how does it stack up for yourself upon any rewatches based on nostalgia and, current eyes and stuff?
You know what? To be honest with you, last time I watched it was maybe about a year ago. To be honest with you, even the last time I watched it, though, it held up pretty good. At least I remember enjoying it as much as I had, watching it, which I was probably a lot younger. But
yep.
Definitely.
We all were.
it held up in that regard. I will say in some of the other areas, CGI.
Yeah, that was what I was going to
The
go
only part that doesn't hold up is the CG. Definitely, I agree with you on that one.
But yeah, no. Overall, I mean, it's still definitely one of my all-time favorite movies. I mean, gotta love it, both because of how much it reminded me of the TV show, but then how it was also like still like its own thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what was cool about it.
Fair enough. This is open question to both of you, so whoever wants to answer first is fine. Obviously, they do the whole ninja quest there. They get the ninjetti powers, and Adam becomes a frog, and then they
I'm a frog.
yeah, and then they did the ninja quest as its own story arc. That was, I think, was it 4 or 5 episodes or something on the actual show?
Something like that, yeah. When they brought Ninja into it.
Yeah, and they brought Ninja on, who gave them those powers and the same Megazord. Which version do you guys prefer?
Oh, well, see, that is a tough, because as bad as the CGI is in the 90s film, I mean, you've got to remember that at the time, CG was kind of finding its feet. It was kind of a new thing. I mean, you only read Beast Wars, Transformers, and Reboot as kind of the big, like, this is what CG can do.
Yeah.
I'd have to say, though, I think the series handled, like I was saying, this a lot better because they broke it down to smaller chunks. And it wasn't as overblown. It was just like, we need better powers. You know, the Reaper and Zed combined, we need something a little bit stronger. And it didn't result in the death of Zordon. So, hey, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, fair enough. So, Dennis, which one did you prefer?
Kind of both ways on it. On the one hand, I do like that the show kind of the show's treatment of it took a little bit more time and took a little bit more steps through a lot of the changes that were being made. But at the same time, I mean, okay, on the show we get Ninjor, in the movie we get Dulcia, so it's kind of like
The swings around about it.
Okay, yeah, I can go with you on that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I mean, for obvious reasons, I mean, there are things that I like about, you know, both characters, so it was like, I don't know, it's hard to say which I like better. I guess overall, I appreciate the fact that a lot of what could have easily just been standalone things from the movie ended up in the show.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, speaking of the Dulcia thing, fun fact. Well, I say fun fact. I don't know how true it is, but I've seen it reported lots of times over the years that apparently Catherine Sutherland, who played Kat in the series, she originally tried out for the role of Dulcia for the movie, but they viewed her as being too young looking. So they went, "Yeah, you're a bit too young for that role. However, we've got something that we think would be perfect for you in the future," and introduced her on the series. Which
She'd like that.
yeah, and she was like, "That works out better." May not get movie money, but
I do remember hearing that apparently the original actress that was hired to play Dulcia, when it came time to filming, actually stepped down from the role, and they
after seeing the costume,
and they very quickly had to replace the actress with somebody else. I think it was like literally they got the part and then they were filming the next day. I think I'm not 100% on that. I remember hearing something about it years ago, but there is quite kind of a lot of interesting stuff kind of behind the scenes with the Power Rangers film. Like we were actually talking about it the other week, Rory. The rat costumes in the Back in Time episodes in the series were originally supposed to be in the film.
Yes.
But they got cut and then they used the suits in the show.
Yeah.
And I think if memory serves correct, and I think I saw it on an interview, it was actually the actors who played Bulk and Skull who directed those episodes, if I remember correctly. I'm not 100% sure. I just remember seeing them doing an interview. They said, "Oh yeah, it was right after the film. We were down in Australia and we had to film a couple of episodes, and literally we were the only ones hanging around, so we directed it." And I was like, well, if that's true, fucking hell.
That's awesome. Yeah.
They were acting in it and directing it at the same time. I mean, that's a little known thing about Power Rangers, is that some people pulled a lot of double duties.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, speaking of Bulk and Skull, their roles in the movie were sort of. I didn't think they were as big as they were in the TV show.
No, they were in the beginning bit.
Unfortunately not.
They jumped out of the plane, didn't they? And then they got hypnotized.
Yeah,
and then they got hypnotized.
they show up again right at the end. And
Yeah.
for most of the ending, they don't actually say anything. They're just kind of there on screen. They don't say anything.
Yeah.
They're helping the other kids save the parents, and they're just kind of there.
Which sort of is a bit of a shame because it's sort of like I used to think they were pretty much as big a part of the show as the Rangers themselves.
Yeah, definitely. I feel that Bulk and Skull, along with Billy, kind of had the best kind of arc throughout everything, because they started off as just the comedy relief / bullies.
Yeah.
And then when they joined the junior police, you actually had all the Rangers turning around to them and saying, "We're really proud of you for this."
Yeah.
And it was like, that was where you saw a change in the characters, that although they were bumbling and they were the comic relief of the whole show, they really were kind of the heart of, they want to do what's right because it's right, not because they're chosen, because they've got powers or anything like that. They're the everyday guy on the street and they still want to help people.
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of part of the message of Power Rangers. It's like, yeah, these guys help people and they're superheroes. These guys aren't, but they still help people.
And they did the thing where they were pretty much inspired by the Rangers, weren't they? Because initially they were trying to find out who they were, and then there's certain episodes, isn't there, where they dress up as Power Rangers themselves and end up fighting boys and stuff and getting thrashed.
Yeah, and there was that one episode where I can't remember the name of the monster, but the monster was putting people to sleep and they were having like bad dreams, and their bad dreams were they were Power Rangers, but they were crap at it.
Yeah.
Like they managed to blow the Megazord up just by sitting in it. So yeah, definitely they are characters within the film that were, I feel, very much underused.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we were going to talk about the movie, but I feel like there's more Bulk and Skull love that we can share. One of the things that I did like was in Forever Red, they got the brief cameo at the beginning where Tommy gets a phone call while he's lounging on a beach lounger in Angel Grove, and it's Bulk that brings the phone over to him and everything like that. And so, so that was cool. And then they had a whole series. I can't remember which one it was. It might be Samurai, where it's Bulk and he's with Skull's son, and he's basically looking after Skull's son. And then Skull turns up at the end and everything. And I've just thought it's nice how they sort of did all that and showed that the two characters grew with each other and also still loved each other in a way by the end of it and everything. And that was awesome.
See, I think that's a trick that they missed with Beast Morphers, because they've got the characters in that are pretty much the Bulk and Skull roles. It's a girl and her brother. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I would be so happy if because there's one episode they start talking about their dad and he's this military general and all this, that, and the other. And I was like, are they going to bring Bulk and Skull in as like these guys are actually like leading the military, working with the Power Rangers? Because that would be a brilliant little fact of where what they were doing, kind of behind the scenes kind of thing. I was like, that'd be really cool, but they didn't do that, and I was like, see, they really should have done that, because with all the other callbacks that are in Beast Morphers to like the older series, just throwing in a little something like that just for the fans to go, oh, they're still around in the background, that would have been awesome. Yeah, but it didn't happen, unfortunately. So.
Well, one of the things I thought was pretty cool was, have either of you seen the Hyperforce stuff?
Little bit, not much.
I know full well that Dennis has. That's why I said that. Dennis is one of your favourite Rangers. Is what's happened? Essentially, the same actor as Bulk, isn't it?
Yeah. It's true. And plus, I mean, it was cool actually that they, did sort of become, Rangers in the comics. So I mean,
yes,
yes, they are.
I was happy about that.
Weren't in the comics they leading some sort of like defense force against the monsters and stuff while the Rangers were away, or something like that? I remember hearing something about that.
I can't remember because I've not read all of them. Have you read them, Dennis?
No, to be honest with you, no.
I've just read bits and pieces, like whenever I found them in shops and stuff, and that's been about it. So, but yeah, back to the movie.
Back to the film. Back to what we're supposed to be talking about this episode. The film.
Obviously, there's a massive difference in the Ninjetti costumes that they had for the movie and for the TV series. In the movie, you could see their eyes, you could see their head, the top of their heads and everything. In the series, they just went right, just eye holes. And
yes, I remember that.
yeah, which was strange because I'm sure that wasn't Sentai footage either. So I don't know why they chose to do that in the TV program, unless it's just purely stunt doubles for a couple
Could
of
possibly be. Could possibly be that.
But which versions? I mean, I prefer the movie version for these, but which versions of the Ninjetti costumes do you guys prefer?
I'd have to agree with you. Definitely the movie ones. Just I think with, like, going back to you saying about the headdress and whatnot, when it was just the traditional kind of ninja mask where it was, you know, from the nose down, you could see the eyes, and they had the head, forehead, and the cloak over the head. It was like, yeah, that's stereotypical ninja costume.
Yeah.
You jump to the show, like you said, it's literally like the same costume, but they've got like a little Halloween mask kind of thing on.
Yeah, they have
the
Revenge of the Mummy sort of thing going on the rest.
Yeah, it was just like, I'm not too sure about that. I mean, the rest of the costume was cool, but it was just that mask kind of threw off the whole outfit. So I agree with you. Definitely the movie ones. Definitely.
Cool. And Dennis?
Oh, same here. Yeah, definitely both in the case of like the ninja costumes, and also I will have to say I do updated version of the suits when they morphed.
Yeah.
Yes, I was actually going to touch upon that. I will say, kind of looking at it, I mean, I know that like the classic Ranger look is just classic, but there's just something about those movie designs.
Yeah.
It just screams more superhero combat suit. I mean, in the show, you get it. It's just guys in spandex with white helmets. Fine. But in the movie, there is this sense that they are a uniformed team and they are there for combat because it's got all the armor plates and pads and whatnot everywhere, but it's still got the spandex underneath. So it's what you know, just with a few more tweaks and a little bit of improvement. I was like, yeah, I like those designs. I do like those designs.
Fair enough. Well, we'll cap off the discussion about the movie because I don't think there's a lot more to. Oh wait, yeah, there is Tengus, the Tenga Warriors, which allows us to do a cheap plug for Calista's YouTube channel, which has recently seen an unboxing and review of that Tengu figure.
This review of Tengu is upcoming. But before I review the Tengu, I will be reviewing the lovely Lord Zed in all of his evil glory.
To be fair, that is an absolutely fantastic figure.
It is. I think it's a damn near perfect representation of the character as he appears in the show. The only complaint I have is the metal clasps on his fingertips.
Yeah.
Are unpainted, so I need a silver Sharpie.
Fair. I've got one. If I can reach it. Go on here. I will bring it round next time.
Awesome, thank you. But yes, you can check out my reviews over on Callie's Collectibles Reviews over on YouTube. I also do streaming over on Twitch, which is Calista_Valentine, but that name will be getting changed at some point. So if you reach out to me via social media, I can send you a direct link.
There we go. How was that for a cheap plug?
There we go.
So back to the movie and the Tengas and stuff like that. There was no putties. There was the Ooze guys and there was Tengas in there.
Yeah.
As a contrast, how did you guys prefer the putties, the Ooze guys, Tengas? What do you both think?
Oh, I definitely think with the Tengus over the putties. I mean, it would have been nice to have seen the putties in the movie rather than the Ooze guys. I mean, the Ooze guys were, you know, decent enough for a one-off bad guy. It was fine. But because the Tengus kind of went from the film and into the show, they were much more prevalent. And I think them, like, over the putties, just their appearance overall was so like, wow, okay, it's so different. That like, okay, you'd seen it in the film, but you weren't expecting it in the show. And when it popped up in the show, you were just like, okay, wow, they're using these big ass bird things who, in the film, actually kind of thrashed the Rangers.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Showed up. So it was like you kind of knew from seeing the film that these guys were a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, there was something to be. They're not just like, oh look, they're fighting more putties. It's like, oh, Tengas are showing up. Oh, it's going to get interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. After a while, they kind of outlived their scariness. But for the first few episodes, it was like, okay, yeah. So yeah, I prefer the Tengas over the putties, but I think the nostalgia in me just goes putty every time. So
fair enough. And the news guys don't even get a mention.
No, the Ooze guys just like they were okay, but literally they didn't work. They weren't in the show. They were in the film for all of 5 minutes. Best impact they left is the fact that they splatted.
Yeah, which
it was
great.
a very good fight scene. Oh, definitely, I agree with you that.
This was going through some railings. Like, what?
The one that got me is the one
completely like decapitated one of them into tiny pieces.
The one that really gets me and even makes me go, oh, even now when I see it, is the one that hits the concrete post right on the corner. Goes bang! It's like, oh no!
And then there's the one where they both go, you know what? If we both kick its head at the same time, we can make it squash. Like, that poor fucking thing. As a sentient being there, they've just like given it like proper brain damage.
I know. The bit that gets me with that is the fact they kind of both stand either side of it. The poor thing goes, huh?
Mm.
Huh? And then looks back at the camera as much to say, oh, I'm fucked. It's just that look like. Dennis, your thoughts?
Oh, you know what? I'd have to say just because I guess I got so used to the buddies in the show that I definitely preferred the Tenga Warriors just for a change. Just a different sort of a bad guy that ended up sort of serving the same general purpose as the buddies. I mean, aside from the monsters, that they ended up being the kind of ongoing thing. And so, they were fun.
Definitely.
See, I know if, like 5 minutes ago I said about like, oh, let's wrap up this thing. It's dawned on me there's like so much that we haven't touched upon, even though I thought we had. We haven't mentioned Ivan Ooze once. We've not mentioned the main bad guy by name at all on this show.
That's very true, Ivan Ooze. But I think he's one of those things that is from the film that the minute you mention Power Rangers movie, that's the first character that people will think of, Ivan Ooze. So you don't really need to talk about him because people have covered him so much.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can completely understand why, because he put Lord Zed in his place. I mean, you saw Lord Zed in the show and you were like, yeah, this guy's pretty badass.
And then Ivan Ooze spanked him. Yeah.
Yeah, literally, like he zaps Ivan Ooze with his staff and he just goes, oh, it tickles. It's like, oh dear.
Yeah, and got all of their henchmen to turn on them, including that random pig guy that was there for some reason. Everyone's like, where the hell has this come from? so yeah, there was that.
I did like the Goldar redesign as well. That was
that's cool.
Redesign.
Yeah.
It was only a slight tweak, but it was like, oh, I kind of like that.
Indeed, yeah. Well, I'll put the next one to you, Dennis. First in touch. What did you think to the random aesthetic changes that they had to the helmets, where they're all like, right, I've got laser eyes now, and the lights and stuff like that? What did you reckon, Dan?
You know what? I actually thought that was really cool because to me it was almost like kind of secondary weapons in a way. Like we get so used to like the saber-tooth tiger with the daggers, and we get used to the Black Ranger with the power axe, and it is like separate from those weapons. It was like the movie kind of gave us other things that were unique to their particular costumes.
I kind of have to agree with you on that one. When I watched it the other night, I did kind of think that the things like where they're going through the dark place and the Yellow Ranger's got the headlamps, Rocky's got the scanning visor, and
the night vision type thing going on.
I was like, that's actually a kind of cool idea, because you kind of see all this tech and the Rangers use, like for the Zords and the weapons and things like that.
Yeah.
There has been questions of, well, why did they never integrate any of this tech into their suits?
Yeah.
So I think showing that in the film is like, it's just an extension of the level of technology that Power Rangers have access to. So it kind of fit within the realms of the film. Okay, granted, if it was in the show and they literally just threw it up there out of nowhere, kind of like they do in the film, you'd be like, okay, where's this all of a sudden come from? Because anything new is introduced kind of like by exposition.
Yeah.
So,
well, last thing to comment on: different actor for the movie, for both Zordon and Alpha 5. I actually got to speak to the actress who played Alpha 5 in the movie, which was Peter Marie Rickson. I met her a few years ago at a Comic-Con. I interviewed her, and annoyingly never released the interview because my friend who went with me filmed everything and then accidentally lost everything. So I got an interview with Steve Cardenas. I got an interview with Jason Thornton, who played Wes. Erin Cahill was there, but I don't think we got a proper interview with her. I got an interview with Cameron Jabo, who played Orion, the Silver Megaforce Ranger and stuff, and like all lost to time. But Peter Marie Rickson, when I was talking to her, she was telling me about the movie and her experience on there, about how the suit was like had something like 9 pints of water circulating in there because of how hot that it would make them. Because obviously there's that Alpha 5 costume is big and clunky and's got all the robotic parts on there.
Yeah.
But she nailed that voice. So what I was leading to, obviously they replaced the actors for those two roles. We had the proper Zordon on our show. And he was awesome. Yeah. So I think it's pretty unanimous, and there's no real reason for real point in me asking you guys. But movie Zordon or TV Zordon?
TV every time. I mean, the guy in the film didn't do a bad job.
No,
but it wasn't my Zordon. You know, even now, when I was a kid, I watched it, and even when I watch it, I just look at it and go, "That's not my Zordon. He's not blue."
Wasn't our command center either.
No, it was like Alpha 5 pimped it out overnight.
Yeah.
You know.
And according to Turbo, the people that help him do that is just essentially Billy, isn't it? That was the thing. Yeah, him and Alpha and Billy worked on New Zords. Don't worry about it. That's how you've got turbo powers now. Bye.
Yeah, we built these on a wet weekend. We had nothing better to do, you know.
Yeah.
Our Netflix subscription was suspended. We're like, should we build some Zords? Yeah.
So we'll do a turbo review later on in the show, just for that reason. We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
But honest reaction, because you know, I know we like talk about how much we love the show and all that lot. Honest rating, what would you guys give the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie out of 10?
I'd go with a nice solid 7.
Yeah.
It's not perfect. If you're a fan of Power Rangers, you will enjoy it.
Yeah.
If you're not a fan, you will just sit criticizing things like the CGI and things like that. Because I remember watching it, not the first time, but one of the first times I watched it at home.
Yeah.
My dad walks in, he sits there, watches the back end of it, and he goes, "Well, that was shit, but the graphics were good." And I just turned around and went, "No, they really weren't." So, you know, if in passing glance you won't like it, but if you're a fan, go for it.
Fair enough. Dennis, what would you give it out of 10?
You know what? I'll probably give it a good solid 8. I mean, it is good just in terms of, all the things that you would like about it. Superhero movie, action, and I mean, for Power Rangers movie, it's pretty good. I mean, there are things that if you wanted it to be more true to the show, there were things that you would have been like, oh, why'd they do that? Or why didn't they do this? So, I mean, there are things that you could complain about it, but overall, I definitely have to remember that's also the movie that was the whole reason why I went to go buy rollerblades. When you seen the Rangers rollerblading around, I was like, okay, I'm ditching the skates. I got to get rollerblades now. So that's the major takeaway from the movie from me. I do remember that.
I did the same, but I actually had Power Rangers rollerblades, so I did exactly the same as you, Dennis.
Awesome.
Well, I'll also, I'll give it a 7 as well, which means that on average, the three of us have averaged out as a 7.3 recurring score grade out of 10. He gets 7.3 recurring out of 10 from the crew. So
not perfect, but not shit.
Yeah, so we'll wrap this up. Thank you both for joining me.
Of course, Hank,
obviously-
anytime.
Glad I was able to.
For the benefit of everyone at home, if you've got access to Twitter, you can find me at king_roaster. You can find the podcast at TVPR Podcast. We're also on Facebook at facebook.com/ I can't remember what it is. Is it TVP Rangers, something like that? It's Team Venom Power Rangers is the name of the page.
Yeah.
Search for that. So,
You'll find it.
yeah, and if you're listening to us on Spotify, thank you for listening. We are on YouTube too, so you can see all of our wonderful faces on there. You can find Calista on Twitch at Calista_Valentine,
Exactly.
and on on Twitter at Calista1984. Is that right?
I think it's Calista V1984. Yeah.
That's it. Okay, Calista V1984. I was close, to be fair. Dennis, are you on Twitter?
Not at the moment. Not at the moment. You can
Nah,
find
fair
us-
enough. That's
you
okay.
can Get a hold of me via our Facebook group, though, for sure.
Fair enough. Yeah. Just find Dennis on Facebook. He's usually in the groups posting pictures of
Oh
of his cool Zord collection and making us all feel jealous.
Yes.
So yeah, and obviously if you're listening, check us out on YouTube and you can comment on that and tell us what your thoughts were on the movie and all that sort of stuff. So thanks everybody, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.